Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed Shalita. Here we are on our journey as we are back in session. Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our learning, and please continue davening for Chayalei Tzvah Gan Yisrael for Shalom Echol Petzua Yisrael and the safe return of our hostages. And our learning is dedicated to Nishmat, Sarah and Daniel Shimon, Harav Daron V'Shel Shem Kam Damo. Next chapter we have Shel Asok Basakav Kodem Tefillah. Misha she'ola olmod hashachar, asol adam la'asok b'malachto kodem she'ispalel. So from the time that the davening period approaches, we're calling it alos hashachar, daybreak, so a person cannot be involved in work before he davens. Mneisha hakodosh kodem l'chol, because sanctity, holiness, comes before mundane. Ukvod shemayim kodem l'tzrachav shel basar adam, and the honor of heaven takes precedence over the needs of humankind. So therefore one has to give thanks and to daven to Hashem before one does his own personal needs. The Gemara Brachos tells us in Daf Yuf Daled Amud Aleph, whoever davens and then goes out to the work and goes out on his way, then Hashem will perform his needs for him. This is actually better to daven alone without a minyan before doing your work, as opposed to doing your work and only afterwards going to a minyan. So let's say someone has to begin davening at 6:30 a.m. And the only minyan that exists is at 7:30. It's a tremendous chiddush. It's based on the Mishnah Berurah in Siman Peites, Sifkat and Chaf, that it's better that he should daven alone without a minyan before working, so he should daven at 6, go to work at 6:30, rather than going to work and then leaving work and going to daven minyan at 7:30. However, if it's before the time of davening, so let's say it's 4 a.m., it's way before Amod HaShachar, Alos HaShachar, then you could already start to work, because the time of Shachris has not yet arrived, then this is not considered as a person putting his needs before the needs of God, or the praise of God in the davening, because the davening time has not yet arrived. One should try and say, Birchas HaShachar, because as we discussed, one should say Birchas HaShachar when you wake up. And since you've already begun working, then you can continue working even after the time of davening has arrived, provided that you don't miss the proper window of time for Shachar, which we call Zman Tefillah. Again, a lengthy note here on the bottom, but it's always a good practice that when we wake up in the morning, the first thing we should do is daven. Hopefully it's with a minyan. Hopefully you live somewhere where there is a minyan that is accessible and convenient for your timing, but certainly before actually going to work or doing work, one should certainly daven first, because the needs of God or the praise of God should always take precedence over our own personal, physical, and worldly needs. So thank you so much for joining us along these brief halachos, but we are learning Chodesh Elul. Please continue davening for Chayalei Tzvah Gan Yisrael for Shalom Echol Petzua Yisrael, the safe return of our hostages. Nishmat, Sarah and Daniel Shimon, Harav Daron V'Shel Hashem Kam Damo. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you here next time. Have a great day.